Well, everyone's done everything that they possibly can to keep us safe for Christmas. So we'll wait and see what the Premier and the Crisis Cabinet do on the basis of the medical advice. But I'm so proud of the community I represent. There is literally nothing more they could have done.
What's been the mood like over the last couple of days since the Northern Beaches went into lockdown? How have residents been coping?
I think there's an air of resignation. I think I was just with the local business chamber the other day and everyone was excited about looking forward to a bumper Christmas in terms of sales and tourists coming back to the area. And of course, that's all turned on its head. So initially there was huge disappointment and frustration, but I think everyone's now resigned that we've got to get through this. And you see that in the numbers that have turned out for testing. People have really taken a sense of responsibility. This is our challenge and people have risen to it.
You mentioned you've spoken to a number of businesses and we know in general it has been a tough year for the industry as it is. This is meant to be their busiest trading period in the week leading up to Christmas. How concerned are businesses that they might not be able to bounce back quick enough from this?
Don't go after everything that businesses locally and around the state and the country have been through this year. This is the last thing people need. There was a Christmas market planned for Avalon last Thursday, and shop owners had to look while produce went off, as that wasn't able to be hosted. Speaking with function centres that are literally losing tens of thousands of dollars as events are cancelled. There's a thriving Airbnb industry locally, as a lot of the eastern suburbs of Sydney decamps up to the Northern Beaches. Obviously, all that's gone now. So the local businesses are going to urgently need some support.
We are seeing in Greater Sydney in particular a number of supermarket shelves completely empty. Have you seen any evidence of panic buying where you are?
Yeah, look, there has been early on in the first day or two, but the supermarkets have rallied and seem to have restocked pretty well. But literally, there's a lot of people who are hunkering down at home, and a lot of people haven't even re-provisioned for Christmas. So it's a pretty anxious time for people. My next door neighbour was at a fitness first. That means she can't. She's self-isolating over Christmas. Won't be able to see friends and family. Got a call from my sister who lives in Motorvale. Same situation there. So lots of people are literally isolating at home as a result of being in close contact with people who have contracted the virus.
We saw yesterday record rates of testing being announced across New South Wales. How proud are you of Northern Beaches residents of what they have been able to achieve in the last few days? I literally couldn't be more proud of the community. It's my honour to represent in the New South Wales Parliament. They have done everything that's been asked of them. People have been so incredibly responsible. Obviously, people are disappointed, but there's a real sense of, there's a chance that people might be able to get together for Christmas. As a result, they're doing everything they possibly can to keep that hope alive. Yeah, fingers crossed, a number of anxious residents waiting for that news, no doubt. Minister, are you worried about the flow-on effects of this? We've seen all states and territories close off their border either entirely to New South Wales or just those considered hotspots. Many families were hoping, of course, to reunite this Christmas. That might not necessarily be the case. Are you concerned that there might be mental health impacts of this?
No doubt at all. I was dealing with a local family yesterday, an outrageous situation where the dad was being held in South Australia, couldn't get home. His wife and newborn child were facing their first Christmas in lockdown on the Northern Beaches. It turned out he was being detained unlawfully in South Australia and has now been released to come home. But that's the sort of crazy overreaction we're seeing from some of the state governments. It's outrageous. Some of it's bordering on inhuman, the treatment of people locally. I think what people need to realise, the Northern Beaches is a vast area. And most of these outbreaks are contained to the coastal town of Avalon Beach. Now, I'm talking to you from Newport. Newport's about a 45-minute walk away, and that's the very next suburb. So this is a very sprawled area separated by bushland and coast. There's hundreds and hundreds of square kilometres, and the virus is reasonably contained. I think a lot of this reaction has been completely disproportionate.
Just finally, the last 2 days, as we said, high rates of testing, improved case numbers by the looks of it. At this stage, is there a sense that there's a cautious optimism?
Well, I think it's just the timing, ultimately. You know, in the scale of outbreaks, this is not a terribly large one. It is, of course, of real concern, and that's why we've acted on the basis of very best health advice. But the contact tracing teams have been on it straight away. The lockdown was very timely. People have responded by getting tested in record volumes. So decisions have been able to be made on the basis of the very best data. There's literally nothing more that people could do. This is a textbook example of how to react to one of these outbreaks, and everyone's doing everything possible. I think that just the exquisite tragedy of it is the timing. It comes at Christmas time, which is obviously an important time for families and also for businesses. You know, we joke about it. The Northern Beaches has always wanted to be separate from the rest of the country. Here's our chance, but it's sort of you got to have a bit of good humour to hang on to that one at the moment.